We're going to talk about inset body language, and the reason why it's so important is to build rapport. Now, when you chat to a girl, you're going with instant Kino, so that builds trust straight away. You don't want to hang on to them very lightly, and there's a technique I use called push away Kino. So it confuses the mind of whether she's attracted to you, or you're attracted to her or not, or she's attracted to you or not. Because you'll push away, and she won't know. It's not like grabbing and needy. So as I chat to her, I'll move around, so I'm a fun sociable guy. I'll be touching her, pushing away as I'm pivoting, talking a bit more, keeping eye contact, being a bit smiley, but always touching. You can get away with this more in a nightclub because it's loud, there's lots of people around. In the street, you probably wouldn't get away with it as well. Well, there's a little technique called the free touch rule that I made up, and the reason we do this is so it makes sure you do Kino while in set. So you're just chatting, oh yeah, I went to the party the other day, I saw a big dog, and it came up and jumped on my face and licked me, and you know, it was adorable, and I got big leaves and was walking it around. Whatever you're going to say, it doesn't matter, because you're moving around and you're Kinoing, and it sort of builds rapport of what you're saying. And if you do that 3 times in a minute, you should be able to build up enough trust, comfort, and connection. It's a bit like the cat and the string theory. So you're dangling the string and the cat's playing with it. As soon as you let go, the cat walks away. Now, as soon as I get boring and stop touching, or if I touch too much, then she knows I'm attracted to her and she'll walk away.
Now I'm going to talk about indirect versus direct approaching body language. Direct body language should be used when you're getting a sign that the girl is into you. In that case, you can just walk straight up, keep getting that face. And she'll be comfortable with that because she's already shown that she's attracted to you. If you aren't getting those signs and you try and walk up like that, she's going to be uncomfortable with you invading her personal space, and she's going to react, she's going to move backwards. So to avoid that, if you're not getting those signs of attraction, the comfortable distance to stand, maybe that is too close, so maybe it's about arm's length. And you can stand comfortably there without bothering her. But the problem when you're this far away is that you can't really touch, you can't really escalate the Kino. So what we suggest is that when you approach, you remember the rule that you keep your face pointing towards and you point your feet away. That way you're able to get pretty close to the girl, close enough to touch her, but you're not invading her personal space and she'll feel comfortable with you there. Okay guys, now I'm going to talk about the things you really shouldn't do. I'll call these my 3 rules of bad Kino. So the first mistake that guys often make is they'll be there with the girl, they'll be quite stiff standing there, they're not used to gesturing or moving around, and they'll remember that they need to touch. So suddenly they'll come with a hand out of nowhere, and they'll be very weird, not natural at all. The second thing guys often do is they do the lingering touch, where they're talking and they just place the arm, and it just stays there too long and it becomes very weird. The third mistake of Kino is that you actually look at the place you're going to touch before you touch it. So you're with the girl, and it makes it very weird because you've looked at the place and you've touched it and it's just not natural at all. Next I'm going to talk about Kino escalation into sexual escalation. So something very good when you're starting out is to try and get used to gesturing. If you can gesture, it becomes quite natural to touch the girl on the shoulder and do things like that. If you're not used to gesturing, like I said earlier, it can be very weird. So a good way to start is to get used to bending the elbows and holding the hands out in front of you, throwing out the occasional gesture. As you get more comfortable, it'll be very natural to throw in touches as you emphasize things. That's a nice show. Next I can talk about excuses to touch and ways to escalate the Kino and go sexual. So far we've covered Kino that is the kind of Kino you do when you're with a friend. But there's a more intimate type of touching that we do when it's someone that we're attracted to. And this is sexual escalation. So this would include things like touching the hands, touching the face, touching the hair, and things leading right up to the point of the kiss. You've got various excuses to touch the hand. It could be to check out the nails. Are they real? Are they fake? Are they painted? To look at jewellery, rings, bracelets and watches. Usually there's a story behind jewellery. So you could ask, what's the story behind your watch or your ring? Normally it's from a holiday or it was a present. Yeah? After you've touched the hand, you could also talk about how soft it is, or compare the size against yours and remark how it's smaller or bigger. You could also, if you're into that, you could learn how to read palms. Look at the lines. Oh my god, look at that. No way. It's crazy. Alright? Get her used to you touching the hand, and you might want to start looking at the face and finding excuses to touch the hair. Is that your real hair colour?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you dye it? It is? You ever had short hair?
No.
No? That look pretty cool with like the short hair. Around like that. Yeah, so you've got various excuses to touch the hair as well. If the girl is uncomfortable with you touching her hair and she moves her head back, she's probably not ready to kiss. If she's comfortable with you touching her hair and she moves into it and she kind of enjoys it, she'll probably be ready for a kiss. So it's a very good tell. Okay, now I'm going to talk about eye contact and sexual tension. Eye contact is one of the most important things. When it gets to the seductive phase, we want to maintain constant eye contact. If there's any sexual tension, but we look away, the sexual tension will just get lost straight away. So we want to maintain that constant eye contact. We can do little tricks, so we can be talking and we can just pause. Just to dial up that sexual tension. Other things we can do, triangular gazing. We can look at the left eye, then the right eye, then the mouth, the left eye, right eye, and the mouth. We can even do slow blinking, where we do this. All of these things increase the sexual tension. Something else we can try is we can tilt the head to the side. And that'll bring out feelings in the girl of when she's kissed people in the past, because when you kiss, you have to tilt your head to the side when you go in. So those are some great tips for the final stages, right before you go for the kiss. If she's comfortable with this kind of close contact, eye contact, comfortable when you pause, she'll be comfortable with the kiss.